Hello students, welcome back to a new and short session. So here I am not going to start the syllabus, whereas I wanted to introduce the laws of thermodynamics. Obviously you could have studied in your earlier semesters, but let me refresh these laws, and we are going to use the second law of thermodynamics in our HVAC subject, and how that is relevant. We will just recall that, and we will start the first topic from first unit in the next class, students, in next session. So whereas today in this session all of you understand the laws already, you have studied. I am just refreshing those laws. Please understand, and any queries, please reach me out. Thank you. So this is the first unit content. Anyhow, we are going to start this content in next session. I'm going to start with the introduction to refrigeration in next session. So before that, let me let me make you clear with these three laws of thermodynamics. I will go through one by one. So there are laws of thermodynamics. The laws of thermodynamics are fundamental principles and govern energy transfer, heat and work in physical systems. That is these are the governing laws for all these processes, like energy transfer, heat transfer, work in physical systems, work transfer. So these laws are very important for starting our subject. That's why I am just refreshing this. These laws are essential in engineering, physics, and chemistry, particularly in refrigeration, air conditioning, and power generation. So these laws are very important. So to start with, zeroth law of thermodynamics. This is the very simple law. If two systems are in thermal equilibrium with a third system, then they are in thermal equilibrium with each other. So this is very simple, and where it establishes the thermal equilibrium relationship among different objects. So this is a very simple law. Establishes the concept of temperature as a measurable and comparable property, forms the basis for thermometers and temperature measurement. It is the basic entity in temperature measurement. Ensures that heat transfer stops once equilibrium is reached. So once three objects are in contact, when once equilibrium reached, there won't be any heat transfer among those three objects. So there it gets stalled. Real world example, if you see, when a thermometer is placed in a cup of tea, it eventually shows the tea's temperature, demonstrating thermal equilibrium. So inside thermometer we have mercury in tube, so that also reaches to the temperature that is equal to the temperature in the tea that exists. So there once it reaches, then it stops rising also, so that reaches the equilibrium. So this is a good example of equilibrium. So coming to next law, that is first law of thermodynamics. It is also known as law of conservation of energy. So energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transferred or transformed. So energy cannot be created or destroyed, but it can be transferred or it can be transformed to some other form. So that is the law of conservation of energy. So here delta U equal to Q minus W. So delta U is the change in internal energy, Q is heat added to the system, W equal to work done by the system. So these are the three are mutually related, and the total energy remains constant here. So then heat added increases internal energy, or it does work. So heat will do either it will be added to internal energy, or it will produce some useful work. So that is the heat work here, and work done by the system reduces internal energy. So real world examples, we can say a IC engine, we are giving fuel energy that is converted into heat and mechanical work. So this is a real world example, and other one can be a battery charging. So electrical energy is stored as a chemical energy. So here it remains as energy only, and it is neither created nor destroyed, and it remains as in some other form. It will be in existence in some other form always. So that is why it is known as law of energy conservation. So next is the second law of thermodynamics, and students, this is very important law when coming to our subject HVAC, and here this is the governing law, we can say. So if you see its statement, it is very simple. Heat naturally flows from hot body to a cold body and not the reverse. Suppose if you want to reverse it, you need some external work. So without external work, you cannot reverse it, and it always flows from hot body to cold body. So that is the governing statement for our HVAC systems. That's why it is very important law in our subject. Two major statements. One is Clausius statement. Heat cannot spontaneously flow from a colder body to hotter body. So from a colder body to hotter body, that is the reverse flow will never happen. So that is the classic statement. And the Kelvin Planck statement is no cyclic process can convert heat energy completely into work without waste heat. So this is the Kelvin Planck statement. It also gives a similar meaning as Clausius statement, but here he has said in terms of heat energy. And no cyclic process can convert heat energy completely into work without waste heat. So that is the Kelvin Planck statement. And entropy concept. So entropy is actually the disorder or randomness in a system. You could have studied in our earlier thermal subject. And entropy, it denotes by letter S, is the measure of disorder or randomness in a system. So that is known as entropy. This is here entropy always increases in a natural process. So here that is in terms of entropy, the second law of thermodynamics is defined in this way. Entropy always increases in a natural process only. So that is entropy concept. No real process is 100% efficient. No real process is 100% efficient. So a real process is actually actual process. No actual process can be 100% efficient. So that is the a very good sentence. And if you see any practical system, none of those systems will be 100% efficient. So it may be 90%. Even if you take IC engine, it is up to 40 percentage only efficient. So that is the efficiency for IC engine. So a practical system, all theoretical systems are ideal systems, they are 100% efficient, but when you see practical systems, they are not 100% efficient. So the second law of thermodynamics, you see here, it is ds, the change in entropy, that is the equation, and dq is heat added, T equal to temperature in Kelvin, and if you see the mathematical expression, it is ds equal to dq by T. So this is the mathematical expression. If you see uh, real world examples, ice melting. Entropy increases as ice turns into water. So when it is a solid, entropy is lesser. When it becomes water, then during melting process, the entropy is a infinite one. And heat engines, some energy is always lost as heat, making 100% efficiency impossible. So this is heat engines. So here the third law of thermodynamics. The third law as temperature approaches absolute zero, that is 0 Kelvin, the entropy of a perfect crystal approaches zero. So this is the third law of thermodynamics. It is absolute zero law, and the entropy of a perfect crystal approaches zero. So as example of ice, when it reaches 0 Kelvin, ice becomes a solid, and once it becomes solid, entropy will be reducing to zero. So that is the third law of thermodynamics. And here implication, it is impossible to reach absolute zero. At absolute zero, molecular motion stops because it is in freezed state, but this state is theoretical only. And for real world example, if you see cryogenics, scientists can reach very low temperature but never absolute zero temperature. So here applications of thermodynamic laws, you can see here, these are the applications where we can apply these thermodynamic laws. Refrigeration and air conditioning, HVAC, here it uses first and second laws for cooling cycles. Heat pumps work based on these principles. And power plants, steam turbines convert heat energy into work, so it follows second law. Engines and automobiles, internal combustion engines operate under the first and second laws. Biological systems, so here metabolism flows the first law, that is energy conservation law. Hence the laws of thermodynamics govern all energy interactions in nature. They define how heat flows, energy is conserved, and why 100% efficiency is impossible in any machine. Understanding these laws is crucial for engineers, scientists, and industries relying on heat and energy systems. So here, understanding these laws in any system where thermodynamics is applicable is very essential. I hope you could have recollected your thermodynamic laws from your earlier subjects already you have studied. And then for any of the concepts, if you want to learn or recollect, please refer Sengel book. Sengel is a very good book and a high standard book for thermal engineering. Please refer that book for basic concepts, and we will continue with our first topic from next class onwards. And these are the reference books we are going to use in our next in almost all units, all 5 units. We are going to use these textbooks and reference books. I suggest you to refer these books. These are the 2 textbooks, and we have 5 reference books and 2 e-resources where you can hugely rely on R.S. Kurmi. It is a very good book, I felt, and you can also refer Rajput. It is also a very good book. We stop here. We will start the first topic in our first unit, that is the introduction to refrigeration. We will start it in next session. Thank you, students.